God, every time I say the name of one of these songs, I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke. Greetings and salutations to all of the goths, gays, theys, and metal fans of all other denominations. Today we are going down into the swamp, into the bog, one might say, because today we are reviewing Sanguisugabogg's sophomore album, Homicidal Ecstasy. Homicidal Ecstasy was released on February 3rd by Century Media Records. If you somehow don't know who Sanguisugabogg is, they are a very extreme, brutal death metal outfit that hails from Ohio in the US. They formed back in 2019 and rose to meteoric fame instantaneously after their EP Pornographic Seizures. Most of this success came off of the back of not only their shock value, which you could tell from the name of their EP, that naming convention does not change, so sorry if you're a bit squeamish. They also captured a lot of attention by playing as openers for a lot of very high profile bands on many tours. They ended up putting out their first album in 2021, Tortured Whole, and it was quite divisive. I myself truly despised it, but let's see how this new record holds up. Since the Tortured Whole, however, they have parted ways with founding guitarist Cameron Boggs, and I think it really ushers in a new era of this more mature version of Sanguisugabogg. Even starting with the artwork for the album, you can tell that there is a new direction being taken. The artwork for this album is quite unsettling, if I'm being honest. Gotta give them points for originality, but I don't know if it's good. It's certainly unique, regardless. One of the things that I really disliked about the Tortured Whole was the way that it opened. It opens with this just detestable pig squeal, and I just hated it. It gave me the impression of like, hey, look at us, look at how edgy we are, which was kind of the vibe I got across the entire album. But on Homicidal Ecstasy, it has a very different way that it opens the album. It opens up just firing right away with this really killer groove, and it is just such a refreshing take from going from that album to this album. Devin Swank's pretty typical brutal death metal vocals cover most of the album. The opening track is no exception, but across it there are more signs of some vocal diversity, some more range that is shown. God, every time I say the name of one of these songs, I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke. Tracks like Testicular Rot and Narcissistic Incisions employ some more unique vocal styles. You have some even layered vocals. You have some more what resembles a harmony in some places. You get some elements of this kind of hardcore like shouting vocal on tracks like Mortal Admonishment. Though I do like a lot of the chances that they take with the different vocal styles across the album, I feel like it's a little too few and far between. I wish that they had put a little bit more out there, maybe pulled back a little bit on some of the pig squeals, because I don't like pig squeals at all. I'm not a fan. The ones that are on here are much less annoying than they were on the Tortured Whole, and the way that they place it throughout the album is much more bearable. One of the things across the whole album that I do have a bit of an issue with is it feels like there's not enough shine given to the guitars. Like, you have moments on Mortal Admonishment and Skin Cushion, but it just feels like it's not enough. Like, I want more, because those moments are some of my favorite on the whole album, especially the outro to Skin Cushion. Like, I thought it was great. I loved that section, but there's just not enough of it. Like, I want more. This isn't a short album by any means. The whole album goes for 45 and a third minutes. It's 12 tracks long, and if I'm saying that there's not enough emphasis on the guitars, then the kind of backside of that is that it does get a little bit repetitive. It gets a little bit stuck and weighed down in this droning guitar and bass that it really mixes together well with the vocals, but I think it's just a little bit too much. It's not giving me enough to really stimulate me. Like, I just get lost in some of the songs, and you need those moments where it breaks that mold to bring you back into the song, to give you some contrast, and it just feels like a lot of it is too similar. But not to be too terribly negative, the drumming on this album is absolutely outstanding. Cody Davidson is a fucking technician on this album, but the snare does sound really bad to me. I think it's more of a personal preference. I know that that very metallic snare sound is more frequent in the kind of extreme realms of extreme metal, like gore grind and slam. They fall into the trope of being like, hey, look at how edgy I am. But Sanguisugabogg on this album does a good job of incorporating a lot of the elements from gore grind and slam, mixing it together with some brutal death metal and making something that's not unlistenable except for that fucking snare sound. I hate it. I don't know, it just like it's a little irritating to me. I just don't like it. But it's not so frequently used on the album that it doesn't ruin the whole thing for me by any means, and I can still appreciate Cody Davidson's masterful performance on the album. Overall, everything else about it sounds great. The kick drum sounds great. Like everything else is fantastic. None of the mixing anywhere else is particularly bad. If anything, it's pretty good. They still have these moments where there is like a kind of fun, gimmicky humor to it. It feels like a campy horror movie at times, and I understand that that was part of a lot of the appeal from their earlier works, but it feels like now they're incorporating it better with things that other people can enjoy that aren't just here for, you know, something silly. Now there is something that you can really chew on, and I'm really kind of excited to see where they go from here because I feel like there's a lot of good ideas. I feel like there was a lot that was done really well. I feel like it can be a lot better. They don't want to be like this kind of one trick pony. They're trying to expand into something that's more sustainable, something that's more kind of intellectually challenging, not challenging in terms of like keeping your food down because it makes you want to vomit everywhere. You know, I feel like I definitely fell into the trap of saying like, "Oh, why is this band so popular? I don't get it. They shouldn't have all this success. There are so many other bands doing so many other things better." It really feels like the band has not taken their success for granted. This album has really helped me take a step back and see they are really making strides to show that they want to be great. They want to earn that success. If I had to give this one a rating, I would probably give it somewhere in the realm of like a 3.75 out of 6.66. I think it's fine. I think it's good in a lot of places, but there's a lot of aspects that probably will keep me from returning to it. All right, well, be sure to let me know what you guys thought of Homicidal Ecstasy. I feel like there's going to be a very wide range of opinions on it. All that said, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, possibly even subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of my pretentious opinions about music. Let me know what you would like me to review next, what albums to keep an eye out and look out for to possibly review in the future. Stay safe, take care, be sure to love each other. I'll talk to you guys later.